In the dim glow of a flickering emergency light, Captain Elena Vasquez stared out the cracked viewport of her battered shuttle, watching the alien armada blot out the stars like a swarm of locusts descending on Earth. The invaders had arrived without warning, their sleek, iridescent ship slicing through the atmosphere, broadcasting a single, chilling message: surrender, primitives. Your resistance is futile. We are the Zorith, conquerors of 1,000 worlds. Elena, a veteran astronaut turned reluctant warrior, gripped the controls tighter, her heart pounding not just from fear, but from a defiant fire that refused to be extinguished. She was no soldier by trade, once a dreamer who gazed at the cosmos with wonder, but now, with her homeworld under siege, she embodied the unyielding spirit of humanity. Little did the Zorith know, humans didn't surrender, they adapted, they fought, and above all, they cared in ways that could shatter empires. The invasion had begun 3 months earlier, on a crisp autumn day when the skies over New York City turned a sickly green. Elena had been in orbit, conducting routine repairs on the International Space Station, when the first Zorith vessels appeared. Their technology was light years ahead, energy shields that deflected missiles, weapons that vaporized entire battalions in seconds. World leaders scrambled, militaries mobilized, but one by one, cities fell silent under the onslaught. The Zorith, a race of tall, ethereal beings with translucent skin and eyes like swirling galaxies, viewed humans as little more than pests, resource-rich but emotionally primitive. They expected quick capitulation, as they had from countless species before. But humans? We dug in. Guerrilla tactics in the ruins of Paris, underground networks in Tokyo, and daring space raids led by pilots like Elena. She had lost her crew in the first skirmish, their shuttle torn apart by Zorith drones, but she survived, crash-landing in the Appalachian Mountains, where she joined a ragtag resistance group. Among the survivors was young Tomas, a wide-eyed teenager from rural Kentucky, who had lost his family in the initial bombardment. Tomas wasn't a fighter, he was a helper, the kind of kid who fixed generators with scavenged parts and shared his meager rations without a second thought. Elena took him under her wing, seeing in him the innocence that the Zorith sought to crush. Why don't they just talk to us? Tomas asked one night, huddled around a campfire in a hidden cave. Maybe they're scared too. Elena chuckled bitterly, but his words lingered. The resistance broadcasts painted the aliens as monsters, but Tomas's simple kindness reminded her of what made humans special, not our weapons, but our capacity for empathy in the face of annihilation. As weeks turned to months, the Zorith grew frustrated. Their scans showed human forces dwindling, yet pockets of resistance flared like embers in a dying fire. Elena's group specialized in hit-and-run operations, sabotaging Zorith supply lines and rescuing civilians from occupied zones. One fateful mission took them to the ruins of Washington, D.C., where intelligence suggested a Zorith command post held captured scientists. Sneaking through the debris-strewn streets, Elena's team encountered their first live Zorith up close. The alien was injured, its translucent form flickering weakly, pinned under fallen rubble. Its eyes met Elena's, not with hatred, but with a flicker of something vulnerable, pain, perhaps fear. The team wanted to finish it off. "It's one of them," growled Sergeant Hale, raising his rifle. But Tomas stepped forward, his voice steady despite the tremble in his hands. "Wait. It's hurt. We can't just leave it like that." Elena hesitated. Every instinct screamed to eliminate the threat, but Tomas's plea echoed the core of humanity, mercy even to foes. Against her better judgment, she ordered the team to stand down. They pried the rubble free, and Tomas, using a makeshift medkit, bandaged the alien's wounds with gentle care. The Zorith, whom they later learned was named Lyrax, a low-ranking scout, watched in stunned silence. "Why?" it whispered through a translator device, its voice a melodic hum. "You should destroy me. That is the way of conquest." That moment was the first unexpected turn. Lyrax didn't attack, instead, it shared fragments of its story. The Zorith were not born conquerors but refugees from a dying galaxy, driven by a ruthless hierarchy that demanded expansion or extinction. Compassion was seen as weakness, purged from their society eons ago. Humans, with our messy emotions, baffled them. "We thought you would break," Lyrax admitted, "as all others have." Elena's group took Lyrax prisoner, but Tomas treated it like a guest, sharing stories of Earth, sunsets over the Grand Canyon, acts of heroism during hurricanes, the simple joy of a child's laughter. Slowly, Lyrax's demeanor shifted. It began to question its orders, revealing vulnerabilities in the Zorith fleet, a central nexus ship that powered their shields, hidden in Earth's orbit. Word of the alien defector spread through resistance channels, sparking debate. Some called it treason, others a miracle. Elena, torn between suspicion and hope, decided to trust Tomas's instinct. They planned a daring assault on the Nexus ship, using Lyrax's intel to bypass defenses. But as preparations intensified, an unexpected betrayal struck, or so it seemed. Zorith forces ambushed their camp, led by what appeared to be Lyrax's signal. Chaos erupted, gunfire, energy blasts, screams in the night. Elena found Tomas shielding Lyrax with his body, a Zorith beam grazing his arm. It wasn't him. Tomas yelled. In the fray, Lyrax fought alongside them, turning its weapon on its own kind. The profound realization hit Elena like a supernova: the alien hadn't betrayed them, a rival Zorith faction had traced the signal. Lyrax had chosen humanity over its empire. The battle left their group decimated, but they escaped with vital data. Elena, nursing wounds, confronted Lyrax in a secluded forest clearing. "Why risk everything for us?" she demanded. Lyrax's eyes swirled with newfound emotion. "You're kind, you give without expectation. Tomas shared his food when he had none. You spared me when I deserved death. In my world, such acts are myths. But here, they are real." It was a moment of raw connection, bridging stars and species. Elena saw not an invader, but a being starved of kindness, much like humans who had endured wars and hardships yet chose to rebuild with open hearts. Building on this alliance, Elena and her survivors launched the assault on the Nexus ship. Sneaking aboard in a captured Zorith shuttle, they navigated labyrinthine corridors, evading patrols. Tomas, despite his injury, insisted on coming, his selflessness fueling the team. The climax came in the ship's core chamber, where the Nexus hummed with otherworldly energy. Zorith guards swarmed, and in the heat of battle, Lyrax was mortally wounded protecting Tomas. As it lay dying, Lyrax activated a hidden protocol, overloading the Nexus, but not to destroy it. Instead, it broadcast a message across the fleet, recordings of human acts of compassion, from rescuers pulling strangers from rubble to communities sharing resources in crisis. "See what we have forgotten," Lyrax's voice echoed. "Strength is not in domination, but in unity." The transformative impact was immediate. Zorith ships hesitated, their commanders witnessing something alien to them, the power of empathy. Fissures appeared in their ranks, some vessels retreated, others defected. The armada fractured, not from superior firepower, but from the seed of kindness planted by one boy's selfless act. Elena held Lyrax as it faded, whispering thanks. "You showed us the way," she said, tears streaming. Tomas, bandaged but unbroken, placed a hand on the alien's form. "We're all just trying to survive. Maybe now, we can do it together." In the aftermath, peace negotiations began, not through surrender, but mutual respect. The Zorith, humbled by humanity's unyielding spirit and boundless compassion, shared their technology for Earth's renewal. Cities rose from ashes, not as conquests, but collaborations. Elena stood on a rebuilt Capitol Hill, watching humans and Zorith work side by side. Tomas, now a young ambassador, smiled at her. "We didn't win by fighting harder," he said. "We won by caring more." And so, the stars that once threatened became allies, a testament to the indomitable power of humanity. We didn't surrender because our greatest weapon was never our ships or guns, it was our hearts, capable of turning enemies into friends, despair into hope. In a universe vast and cold, kindness proved the ultimate force, inspiring generations to look beyond fear and embrace the shared light of existence. For in the end, what makes us human isn't our ability to conquer, but our choice to uplift.